All right, let's jump over. Byron, is there anything you want to do on the ship
I thought it was
on?
very funny
Yeah,
when when she said that she doesn't have that relationship with Byron because my first thought was I need to go see Kid about something.
great. That's great. I like it. What do you want to go and talk to Kid about?
So I imagine I would be wandering out of my chambers because I'd be in meditation, doing the whole way thing, and then going down into the
Hmm.
cargo bay. Is that where you're working in, or
I think
Uh,
there's like an engine room or whatever. It's not a specific upgrade on the ship, but
like an
there is somewhere
unassigned
where Kid
workshop, right?
works.
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
We don't. Yeah. Sorry.
I think I live in there. I think it's like the engine room, and there's kind of like a desk with like all kinds of spare parts, and like I've got a hammock in there too. I basically just live in this
Pulling a
like engine
Kaylee,
room.
then. I gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. She is absolutely Kaylee.
I mean, would I be walking in on you while you're doing all these drone and Urbot things, or
Possibly. Yeah. I'm not sure what your goal is here, but yeah, it could be in the middle of this.
Mrs. Ramos? Could I have a moment of your time?
I like take my goggles off and like toss them and like, yeah, don't call me Mrs. Ramos. Like Miss Ramos. It's Kit.
Okay, Miss Kit, can I have a moment of your time?
Yeah, yeah, sure. What is it, Byron?
Well, I could not help but notice that you're doing strange things with the AI, and that you have some sort of technological prowess, which I think might come in handy, and I was wondering if I could ask a favor.
I've gone from kind of being annoyed that you're here to intrigued. Like what kind of favor?
Have you ever heard of a light blade?
Uh, you know, yeah, yes, I've heard of it. They're quite rare, if I understand correctly.
Not as rare as you might think. There is an entire order that uses them as weaponry. I suppose they're as rare as you can find song-cut focusing crystals, which, I mean, there's a whole planet of them, so I suppose it's more about the nature of being able to create a device that can focus energy through the thing, which I do not know anybody able to do. But then I don't know many people that mess with Urbots and AIs and drones and such.
What exactly is your question?
Were I able to get hold of a song-cut focusing crystal, would you be able to create a device, handheld, that could create such a blade?
Is where I'm gonna ask the DM. Is that possible? I have no idea.
Um, my question for you, Kit, is how confident are you in your own abilities? Because yeah, of course it's possible. I mean, these are rare, like they're sort of rare artifacts. Like you've heard of the vigilants who bear these blades as like a mark of their order, and you've heard that other people have created knockoff versions before. But I mean, the question here is a matter of hubris. Like if you think,
Oh yeah. Okay.
if you believe in your abilities, absolutely you can do that.
Okay, then yeah, I'm gonna be very confident about it. It's like, yeah, I could do that, for the right price or a future favor.
To be named later, or
Yeah.
now?
How about just you'll owe me one?
Alright, I will owe you one as soon as I can get my hands on said crystal.
Yeah, then I
As
think we
you
have a deal.
as you say that, the cube sort of like floats over to you and is like floating around your head, and it just starts going like wild. It's like and Bates is just like, yes, yes, I'm well aware of Master Fang's attunement to the way. No, Cube, stop that. What do you mean you can sense the crystals? Don't be silly. Like you guys can hear all of this conversation. It's happening like out loud through the ship speaker.
Is this the kind
Yeah.
of universe where we all understand droid, even though the audience wouldn't?
Um,
No, but we
No,
understand
no,
Bates, right? Yeah.
no. Cube speaks a very specific, like, ancient language, which is why Kit is trying to learn that language. But Bates clearly knows how to communicate with Cube.
Okay.
And so, but I'm listening to Bates, and I'm just like, so you might already have the crystal, is what I'm hearing.
And this is like you guys hear like a from the corner of the room, and Junior says, "Well, we do happen to be on the way to Voss, which has the largest concentration of attuned crystals in the entire sector."
Well, things are
Good
looking
to
right for you, Byron.
No. Well, I suppose I'll be returning to my chambers now. I will get in contact with you as soon as I can. Yes, good news. Walks away.
As soon as you and Junior are gone, I'm like on my computer, like studying, like Googling what the hell is it, whatever crystal.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. So Vossian crystals, which come from the planet Voss, which is also known as Glimmer, because it has like these radiant crystals on its surface, are like a very little understood power source. Like they're used for powering things that like beyond, obviously engines and batteries and those things use the sort of more traditional power source. But like Voss crystals would be literally perfect for what Byron is describing. And while you're like looking that up, Bates comes over the line and he says, "I think Cube has some interest in this. It says that the crystals taste good."
Thanks. That is good to know.
I'm not exactly sure how to explain that.
I just start looking at the cube now, trying to figure out, like, does he have a mouth?
With that business out of the way, Byron, what are there any downtime actions you want to take at this time?
Yeah, I'm going to spend the next whatever part of the journey until we get to Voss in meditation and training. 2 trainings.
Okay.
2 trainings.
Are you going to do 2 trainings?
Yeah.
You're not going to indulge your vice?
No, I think I have a plan.
Okay. Talk to me. So what does this training look like? Do we just see you like meditating and floating off the ground, or?
Well, I think it's a lot of meditation where I'm channeling myself. I'm assuming that my room is like a bed and nothing else. Maybe a computer terminal, and that's it. A very sparse, nothing. Well, except for bots and lots of bowls of rocks.
Yeah, nice.
The entire journey, and I meditate in the middle of them for a lot of the time, and then part of the time is me swinging my sword around, honing my skills in, scrapping. Maybe, maybe dashing around the room, holding my breath for as long as I can.
Yeah, so we see like a sort of a montage of you doing various way mystic training. So you wanted to do a training in Resolve, and it sounded like one in Prowess?
One in Resolve and one in Playbook.
Oh, in Playbook. Yep, that makes sense. Absolutely. You can take those 2 experiences. We see that. I think at some point when we've just seen you like finish some sort of martial kata or something, Bates comes over your personal intercom just in your room, and he says, "Master Fang, there's a incoming communication for you. It is most urgent."
Put it through.
Yeah, and from your computer terminal or whatever, there's like a flickering or whatever, and you see basically like a hooded figure whose face you can barely see. They clearly have a mask on under their hood. You would know this figure despite the fact that you can't see any of them to be Doram, who is basically like the leader of the Night Speakers. They are they're well entrenched in like the nobility. They're not a noble, but they've sort of been named as like the mystic advisor to Ritam al-Malklaith, who is like the governor of this entire sector. My question to you is like, are you a member of the Night Speakers?
Yeah, because I would have to be. I'm wearing some part of the regalia, which means that I have to be
Yeah.
entrusted in some form or fashion.
Yeah, I think so. So we see this like sort of shadowy figure. I put like a little NPC card up for you. And we just hear this voice, though we don't see any movement from the shadowy figure in the communicator, say, "Fang, it is good to see you."
Yes, as always, my master.
And there's sort of like this ethereal chuckling, and says, "How is the INC unit?" And that he's talking about Bates.
It is undergoing expansion and education.
Good, good. Just as I had hoped. You do good work, Fang.
Silence.
Indeed, this is why I have got in contact. An important... no, they would say first, it has come to our attention that you are in the Holt system, yes?
Yes.
I have an important asset on Voss, which needs extraction. Of course, this all needs to be done surreptitiously, yes?
I understand.
I will send you details as soon as I'm able. Be careful. They may be hot.
Hot.
You could tell, like, that what they mean is they're, like, people may be looking for whoever or whatever this is.
Right, I also assume I have like a second window up, looking up what the definition of serotypus is.
Oh, right. I mean, he was just saying, like...
No, I know what I know what it means.
Oh,
I'm
right.
saying that
Okay.
Fang wouldn't. He's a more direct, upfront person.
Yeah. It's like, the assets are certainly capable, but they are on an important mission. And our original plans for getting off planet have been disrupted.
Once gathered, what then?
They will be able to give you the information. And I think, like, at this time, like, you receive like a message as well, and it's actually like a wanted poster. It's been issued by the Church of Stellar Flame, who are like the accepted state religion in the sector, and it's for two outlaw mystics, wanted, highly dangerous, and their names are Owen Rye and Ismissa. I'll put them in the chat.
Very well. It shall be done.
I don't think you've met either of these people yet, because I imagine even if you are a member of the Nightspeak, you're trusted, but you might be fairly new to their ranks. I think like it's fairly, like, the Night Speakers are a fairly exclusive club. They don't have like a bunch of interns just running around everywhere. if that makes sense.
Right, but they're also an organization that encompasses multiple systems. And it's unlikely,
Oh yeah,
despite the fact that that's my whole stick is traveling to new planets and seeing new things, that I would see everybody.
yeah. That's that's exactly it. I like Listen's note in the chat that Duran looks like a friendly chap. Yeah.
Hey, don't judge a person by the mask they wear. We all wear masks. Yours are just made of flesh.
And that didn't sound creepy at all. Nope.
I didn't mean that in a
Oh.
Hannibal Lecter way. I just meant that you carry your emotions on a different
Yes,
form.
yes. Oh, sure.
I think we found our episode name: Masks of Flesh.
Huh.
All right.
First half, I'm the captain now. Second half, Masks of Flesh.
Yeah, amazing. I'm the captain. Oh my god. Yeah, and I think as the communication fades, Bates says to you, "Ah, exciting to meet other members of the Order.
Indeed.
Not that I don't
Bates,
appreciate your company, Master Fang."
Bates, erase all logs of that communication.
Which communication, sir?
Exactly.
All right, and we cut away from that shot. Rick or Edwin, did you guys want to do anything else on the ship, or do you want to do downtime activity on Jarek's junkyard, or what?
I
what
could
do you
definitely
guys
do one of them now. You go ahead first.
No, I basically just keep gambling, and well, I do get a call from Nyx.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Because she's like, she hasn't heard from me for a while, and well, I don't actually owe her any money at this point. She definitely wants to sort of keep tabs on me and see what I'm doing, and probably the fact that we were doing this friendly game and then I appeared on the leaderboards, it was enough to say,
Yeah, I
oh,
was just
what's
thinking
he's up to, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, we see you back in your quarters. Rick, what does Rick's quarters on the ship look like?
Basically they look like a fighter pilot's junkyard. I mean, you have pictures, old-fashioned pictures, like stills of old ships, and even like actual like 21st, 22nd century Earth, rare aircraft. It's almost like the reverse of going to like a Pinterest gallery for sci-fi, in that all the ships in universe are ancient, and this is the first ship that made the jump to so, right?
Nice.
Leather jacket thrown over a chair. He has like a table with a lot of deck of cards as he keeps building, because somebody who plays on this is changing tarot cards. There's a big screen, and like a big lounge chair. He just said, there's even there's a bed somewhere in some corner that it's barely used, right?
Yeah,
and it's clearly someone who never actually bothers to make up their bed. Like they just sleep in it, get up, they change the covers, whatever, and that's it. They never actually make up the bed, right? Which from his military background, it's like it's pretty weird. And he's just lounging, watching, the big screen. He's watching some card tournament, right? Because the Luna Dark Beast Mark version 3.5 is about to drop, and everybody's sort of jockeying for the new season. So he's just like watching it and making comments like, "No, you shouldn't do that, that other thing." Like, somebody who thinks he's better at the game. Like everybody watches sports titles, thinks that they're better at whatever it is the actual players are, because of course they are. And you shouldn't do that. Hey, no, that's a. Hey, the ref should have seen that was an illegal move. God damn the refs.
Yeah, and I think as you're watching it, it's like when ESPN air Magic tournament. It's what it was saying. I think as you're like watching there's like a pop up on the screen which says that Nyx is calling.
I just sort of press on the corner. Like there's a touch screen, so I was like, yep. And she sort of comes up.
I imagine she sort of like comes up, sort of picture display. So you're still watching the tournament in the background. What does Nyx look like?
As her namesake, she's human, but she has like she's very like has very dark hair that goes into her shoulders, but very pale. She has very dark eyes as well. Like it seems like they have contact lenses. But what in fact those are they're information terminals. Like they're contact lenses that cover her entire eyes and their information sensors, and also help her, people not be able to get biometrics out of her eyes. So it's a 2-for-1. So she always looks like she's staring at you blankly because her eyes are completely blank. It's just because she has these sort of kind of inbuilt, not built because they're removable, but they're sort of in the eye, covering the entire eye.
Okay.
And she probably is wearing depending on the time of day, she always wears also black, whether it's a black camisole or a t-shirt or whatever her mood happens to be, where she happens to be. She's, but her favorite color is black, and you can tell that even though her hair, probably natural color of hair is dark, she actually, paints it so that it's almost blue-black, almost just a bit, almost anime style, like blue-black, but not quite. She's very much into the whole persona of being Nyx. That's not her real name, right? That's her.
Yeah. That's her.
She's almost cosplaying as Nyx in a way.
It's a professional veneer.
Yeah.
Cool. So she comes up on the screen and she says, "Nice to see you, kiddo."
Hey, what's up? Long time no hear from you. I'm not being busy, of course, but it is what it is. So what can I do for you, babe?
Well, I just wanted to check in. I know you're excited about the new expansion.
Mm-hmm. I'm seeing Yellow Dancer here just made a wrong move again. He always goes for that basic fire and brimstone strat. It doesn't work for him. He barely survived against Starromancer last time. It doesn't make any sense. But hey, still, that's why he's still in the 100K rack because he never gets over that. I mean, 100K is good, if you want to pay the bills, but come on, he's much better than that.
But
anyway, you were saying,
Well, I hear smart money is in investing in your defense at the moment, and she gives you a wink.
Yeah. I thought that Edwin was a bit of a beginner, and so I went light on him. As I usually do when I lose. But I win always a win in the end, so it's good. So there'll be a rematch. Don't worry about
it. And is there a particular downtime action you want to encompass?
Basically, this is just catching up with her and sort of, she's basically digging into, prodding into what I'm doing, right? Because she's always saying looking for an opportunity, that's how she cultivates her contacts, right? She has contacts everywhere. She's a money lender, right? And she's always looking at opportunity to both, people who are desperate who need money, but also to invest as well, right? So if she hears, and since I'm always traveling, oh, you're going to this place, maybe you can do me a favor there, that kind of thing, right? That's how she operates. She never is sort of, outside of sending leg breakers to get her money back, that's the only time she's very direct, right? It's like, oh, you owe me money, your money or your toes. That kind of situation.
So right? I think she says to you, do you need an advance for when the set drops?
But right now I'm heading to Voss, and I got a job I gotta do. To be honest, we picked up a little bit of heat last time we were in the other system, so I gotta find a place to, something quick to get me.
Something about a motorbike hitting a.
Yeah, you should have seen it. One of my finest moves out there, really good. there was like two centimeters at most of error. So like if I, you have to look at it was a 31000 aero bike, and you know that they have the side thruster, and I started moving with my hands and doing the maneuver, like explaining how it works. And so I turned the corner. It was beautiful, but now that you talk about it, like I guess I shouldn't have said that out loud. I mean.
You can see she's chastising you, but she's also along with it, and she says, "Don't stay away too long. Indri misses you, and Indri is a planet, not a person."
Yeah. Oh, by the way, are you keeping the how's the little puppy I gave you last time as a bonus?
Yeah, and there's like this. I think she sort of palms off the question a little bit. She sort of like looks off camera, and she looks back at you, and she says, "I don't have time for a long catch up now, Rick. But you be careful out there. I know you're working, but Holt is. There's a lot of church around at the moment."
Yeah. And I'm no choir boy, that's for sure.
Yeah, and we sort of like faded on that, telling you after yourself. The reason I asked the lessons is because you've only done one, you do get 2 free ones. So so have a think if you want like to train and gain another experience, or whether there's a long-term project.
I'm gonna train for scrap. I'm gonna train to try to get my prowess up. So that's when I'm gonna get that.
Sorry, my headphones playing up. What was that?
I'm gonna train physically, like if there's like a bag or something, punching, kicking, that sort of thing. Maybe even go Byron to try to teach me one of those, sick, mystic martial art moves or something like that. I want to get back into it. It's like I used to be the junior champ, lightweight champion, my squadron, but that thing just kicked my ass. So I really need to get back into it. So I'm going to train to try to. You can train to specific things like prowess.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. So I'm going to train for scrap to get that.
You train in the attribute. Yeah, so add 1 experience to prowess.
Okay. Yeah.
And then when that maxes out, you can put a dot into scrap or scramble or whichever.
Okay.
It sounds like we see a lot of shots of Byron standing over you and helping you back up.
Yeah, with his mask on, so we never know what exactly he's feeling. It's like wrong, try again, wrong. I'm like put the leg up, and I'm like, but just hurts, Typical martial arts things where you're sort of.
No, it's a lot of like master and teacher. I'm putting you through the moves that I was taught in the way that I was taught, which is namely, I try to hit you, and then I pick you back up again. What did you do wrong there? What could you have done better? Let's do that again.
The part they don't tell you about martial arts training, unless they're little kids, is that it hurts.
Yeah, it hurts.
We're on a metal ship, no padding.
Yeah.
And we hear Bates over the intercom say, "Very well done, Master Bazal. You almost had him there."
Yeah.
And then we hear Cube off. Yes,
I don't know what he said, but that was that. No, I'm not gonna take back talk from whatever the hell that is. Next time, Kit, radio Kit. Next upgrade is gonna be like a sauna or jacuzzi, for the muscles. Yeah, I mean, oh boy.
You'd want an ice bath, not a jacuzzi.
Yeah, you get us enough cred, we'll put in a jacuzzi.
Yeah. It's the sun showers are not gonna cut it. Yeah. Go ahead.
What does Edwin Rockwood the Seventh do?
Well, I got my extra downtime for acquiring assets and laying low, but I want to wait until someone like procs and tells me like, hey, how about we stop on Voss and do this or that before I do that one? But I imagine I want to train resolve here, and what Edwin's probably doing is quite literally sulking in his room over the death of the previous captain. He's probably his room probably looks like, you know, a little bit of a fancy study. It's got like it's got a library feel to it. There's like a violin sitting on a case on the corner, and there's like a fake fireplace with a large armchair in front of it. It's just like purely holographic. It's there for mood lighting more than anything. And he's sulking down into his armchair, just talking to himself. It's like, you did this to him. You, I ordered him to do this sort of thing. I had him take the risk. He seemed fine at first, but then the heart attack got him afterwards from all the stress. It's like, no, you can't be soft. You have to stay resolved and resolute. They'll tear you apart otherwise. You know how the noble houses are. And he's just going back and forth with himself, like, all alone, nearly in the dark, except for like the holographic fire display.
Yeah, right.
Just literally waiting for someone to like interrupt his brooding, or they get to the planet.
Yeah, so you guys are headed to Jerix, which is not a planet as such. It's sort of like a free floating platform, but it has been Jerick has installed like some sort of environmental protection dome or something over. People can actually walk around without spacesuits or whatever. Yeah, and so I think like as we see you like sulking over the death of Captain Rado, like there's a jolting to the camera as we feel it touch down, and Rick, you probably come over the intercom because you would be engaging the landing.
Yeah, I'm basically have like a cup of coffee and like we're incoming. We're having in vector, so everybody who is gonna get off at the location, stand by because we're 5 minutes in. And basically, you know, changing protocols with the the base so that I can properly engage their systems. Is there anything that pops up odd or different as I'm doing this?
No, I don't think so. I think like as you fly, we see this like vast platform of like tied together. It basically just looks like a giant metal mess. You know, you think you can see what looks like half of a ship jutting out from one part of the platform, and things are all like magnetized together, or there's like cables like holding bits of it together as well. But there's definitely like a specific area for landing, and you can see that there are 3 or 4 other ships here at the moment. I think actually what is odd is like as we see the Star Dancer, the Red Baron come in to land, there are other sort of like, I don't want to say junker ships, but you know, ships that look like the Red Baron in various different classes. You know, there's nothing of exactly the same, but they're all of the same sort of class of freighter ship, except one of the like 5 ships that's there is this very sleek black and red it has like these sweeping up wings. It looks almost like not a what's the one from Star Wars? Not a TIE fighter. The other one where like the wings sort of unfold and stuff. No, because that's the one that the good guys use, right? The X-wing.
TIE fighter, TIE defender, TIE.
Oh, you mean
it's that
Lambda shuttle?
Lambda shuttle, yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Lambda shuttle has the 2 wings on the side. They fold up and then down.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably what I'm imagining.
The Emperor.
Yeah, that's what I'm imagining.
Okay.
It's a Lambda shuttle in black and red and gold, except like it looks sort of sleeker. Like you don't see the joints as much. It's like this is an incredibly expensive ship, and the coloring indicates that it is it belongs to some member of the Church of Stellar Flame. So there is a church present on Jerick's at the moment.
I call. We don't have a representative church. I guess Byron's the closest into it. And
yeah, the church aren't huge fans of way mystics generally.
Yeah, so I call him over. It's like, Mr. Byron, you might want to see this. Yes. I'm taking it slow, right? I'm taking it, because there's especially I'm wondering myself. I hope we don't get any rust on the Red Baron. That would take forever to go.
I'm sorry, what was it, Mr. Brazel? What did you need?
I point basically out the window, right, at the monitors, like, we got a church here. I wish you might be aware of that.
Yes, I would suggest avoiding them.
That's the plan.
Okay.
Actually, we don't actually have a plan, but
the plan is having no plan. Got it.
Yeah. Anyway, yes. So you know, and of course, be prepared. As always. And we land. I guess there's a docking bay or something like that we go in.
Yeah, it's sort of like there's probably a landing strip or something. I don't know. Actually, this is a good question for the pilot. Do you need like a landing strip, sort of like a plane, or are you able to do the sort of like stationary landing?
Yeah. I'm asking more because how we're gonna get out. We're not gonna, EVA out in the vacuum. That's what I'm asking. Is it something that we connect, or is it we going to the bay, or?
No, it's more like a landing platform, like all sort of sitting next to each other, because because there is this Atmos bubble around the junkyard.
Oh, okay. Those always make me nervous. Yeah, so I land.
Yeah. And yeah, I think sorry, what was that?
No, it's okay. Kit is right at the door, ready to get out as soon as the door opens from the landing. She's got a tablet of and she's researching the different parts she wants. She's got the baits, put that in chat, right with her. And yeah, she's ready to get on this. She loves this place. She hardly ever gets off the ship in general, but she loves this place.
Amazing. I think there's a shot of the five of you, including Junior, walking down the ramp of the ship onto the junkyard, and uncharacteristically, Jerick, who's like this old dude, he's covered in grease and oil. He's got like a beanie on. Sort of long matted hair or whatever. He's like a classic truckie, right? He looks a bit like this, and he's like waiting at the bottom of the ramp, and he's like wiping his hands, wipes them on his shirt, and as soon as he sees you, he says, "Kit, you son of a gun!" And he like comes in to give you like a familiar hug.
Yeah. And normally I hate that, but with him, it's just like, yeah, Jerick, how it's been.
Yeah. And he says, "You got a list for me?"
Oh, of course, you know it.
And then the two of you disappear off into the junkyard immediately. He just ignores the rest of you completely, despite the fact that he runs.
I basically sort of, while we're going down, I basically turned to Edwin, to Rockwood. It's like, Mr. Rockwood, I do have a question.
What's that?
What are we going to do with the body of the former captain?
Well, there's always space-side funerals, but I guess if we land on a planet, we could go get a shovel, dig a little grave. I don't think he had any family to necessarily return the body to.
Yeah, he was a crowd unto himself, that's for sure. Yeah.
So I say we'll keep a hold of it until we hit landfall, but it should be fine where it is. In the meanwhile,
does Byron say that a lot?
Yeah.
And I turn around and was like, I wasn't. I mean, the captain was the captain, and I had a strange fondness for him, but selling people for medical. I mean, he was. What I'm trying to say is, he was a freak of medical nature, I suppose. But still, selling him into someone else just seems a bit.
Byron will clasp his hands
Cruel.
behind his back and say, I understand exactly what you are saying. How about this? He was a wanted criminal. We could turn him into the authorities for a reward.
We're also sort of the wanted criminals here for the same reasons. Let's table that
We
one.
have middlemen. Nobody knows who this fine gentleman is, and I'll point to our escort guy.
To Junior.
Yeah.
He's like, actually, that, are you offering a split?
I'm not the captain.
And he looks at both of you and he's like, Captain?
Rockwood sighs for a little bit and goes, Rick, I'll put you in charge with whatever fate you believe he should go to. But as for you, Junior, you have a place to go here, and we need to escort you there first.
Yes, well, I imagine the yard has a communicator I can use to get in touch with my friends. And there is like a truck stop thing like built onto the platform, and it just has like a glowing neon Jurix, which like it's clearly the only thing that he takes like pride in keeping clean or whatever.
There's a little sign that says Stellar Cards, a credit for every 1,000,000 light miles call, something like that. And get one yours today.
Yeah, and so as we see you guys like enter the truck stop, we get like this sweeping view of it. There is like just parts everywhere, and inside there are sort of like racks of like things you can buy. There's basically like a whole hardware store. But on the other side, there's basically like a cafe diner. There's a girl behind the counter serving coffee to some sort of truck, like space trucker at the bar. And in one corner there are definitely Lunar Dark Beast tables, and there's like a couple of I'm not going to say kids, they're sort of like early 20s people, but they're playing what is clearly a very casual Dark Beast.
No, she's standing in the corner behind the counter, and you always have that machine that has the hot dogs that nobody buys.
Yes.
Always spinning slowly.
Uh-huh.
And I look at it and go like, that sounds like no, last time, oof, I spent 3 days. Never mind. I just sort of listen, Junior. The quicker we do this, the better. So where you make your call?
Sorry, Theta message in chat says, I love those hot dogs. I worry for your health, Theta. Yeah, and so like Junior nods, and you see him like it's like an old school telephone booth basically, but instead of a telephone on the ringer, it has like a communication screen. And we see him like go in there, and as we do, we see you guys like spread out into the diner. The camera pans over to like a corner where everyone seems to be sort of avoiding looking at one person. Sitting at a table by themselves is like a finely dressed. He's wearing like black leather boots, and the camera like pans body. He's got this sort of crimson almost doublet on with like a black cape with like a golden inlay. This guy looks like something out of the Imperial Order from Star Wars or whatever, and then like embroidered on his chest is like a flaming heart, and he looks he'd be played, as you can see, by Clint Eastwood, and as Junior like steps into the booth, we see this guy's eyes sort of narrow as he looks at you over his newspaper, and he looks thoughtful. And I think on that we'll go to break. We'll have like a 5-minute break and use the bathroom, etc.
Mhm.
All right, break time.